Hi guys! Today I'm going to be talking to you all about neti pots and why I think you should be using one. I actually broke my neti pot this morning, and since I use it every morning and night, I had to buy a replacement right away, and I figured it would be a good opportunity to talk to you all. This is what the packaging for the neti pot looks like, and this is what the actual neti pot itself looks like, and the only reason I picked this brand is because it's the one that I have available in the store. But any neti pot that you find, online at your local health food store, you can get them from like Whole Foods. Most drugstores carry them now. Doesn't really matter which brand you buy. They all pretty much do the same thing. So the reason I use a neti pot every morning and night is because I used to have a lot of congestion in my nose where it didn't really matter if it was allergy season or if it wasn't allergy season. I would constantly be blowing my nose throughout the day. It was part of my routine. It's like I wouldn't even notice how often I was blowing my nose because it was just something I lived with. And I'm talking about from when I was a little girl. I used to get the worst allergies when I was younger. And the past few years, I've actually been able to get rid of my allergies through diet and lifestyle changes. But I still dealt with the constant congestion in my nose. And when I differentiate between constant congestion and allergies, when I'm talking about allergies, I meant they were pollen related, and I would get, puffy eyes, and my nose would be more runny. With the constant congestion, it would just be that I couldn't breathe well unless I cleared the passages at that moment in time. And my nostrils would be clear, maybe for the next 20-30 minutes, and then I'd have to blow my nose again because I would become congested again. And the neti pot has actually been able to get rid of that congestion for me. So what it does is it basically clears out any dust, pollens, dander that are sticking to the hairs in your nose, and it clears out really deep mucus buildup that is in your nostrils, and it goes all the way into your nasal passages and basically traces the water through one side out to the other. And basically, since I started using the neti pot, I've stopped being congested throughout the day. I still blow my nose once in a blue moon, but maybe 2 or 3 times a day as opposed to 2 or 3 times in an hour. It did take about maybe, I'd say, a week for me to notice full benefits from the neti pot. It wasn't like a one-day miraculous recovery. It just kind of slowly over time got better and better as long as I kept it into my routine, which is why I use it every morning and night. The reason I do it first thing in the morning and before I go to bed is because the body has a natural tendency to have the mucus build up in your nostrils and your mucous membranes up here while you're sleeping. So a lot of times people, when they wake up, they find that they have to blow their noses more than they normally would throughout the day. So first thing in the morning, you want to clear that out, and since it happens overnight, it's really good to clear it out as well right before you go to sleep. So you're starting off with like a nice clean passageway. You can do it anytime throughout the day that you want to if you feel like you need to, but I just do it in the morning and night. That's all I need to do it. So how do you use a neti pot? It's really easy. You just fill it up with warm water. I just use the tap water that comes out of the sink. I just make sure it's not too hot because it can burn if it gets too hot. Just add a scoop of whatever brand of neti salt that you're using into the neti pot. Make sure you use the scoop that comes with the brand that you're using because coarser milled salts will require you to use more salt, where finer milled salts will require you to use less, and you don't want to use more salt than you need because it will burn if you use too much. So once it's mixed in there, you actually insert the nozzle into one nostril. It sounds really gross, it's not a big deal, and you lean forward, you pitch forward, and you tilt your head, and the water will actually just flow right out of the other nostril. It sounds weird and it sounds like something that wouldn't work, but it does, and it's actually really easy. I know the first time I used a neti pot, I was really apprehensive. I thought that I wouldn't do it right, or that it might be painful. I was actually surprised at how easily the water came out the other side. I didn't really have to do anything special. As long as you pitch forward, tilt your head in the opposite direction of the nostril that you have the neti inserted into, it will work. So basically, you do an entire pot's worth of water for one nostril, tilt, fill it back up, put more salt into it, do the other nostril, tilt. When you're done doing both sides of your nostril, I like to pitch forward and blow my nose out really well because the water likes to kind of stay in there, and you want to make sure you get all of the water out. I actually, after I blow really well, just pitching forward normally, I actually like to tilt my head completely upside down, and I do it for about a count of 5 seconds. And then I lift my head back up, and I always notice that more water seems to come out after I tilt my head upside down. So once I get my nostrils dried out a little bit from the blowing, I actually oil my nostrils, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's really important to oil your nostrils after you neti because the saline solution, which is a salt, will dry the nostrils out, and if you don't oil it, it will actually become aggravated and you will start to produce more mucus as a result. So I use sesame oil. This is the one that I use. It's organic and it's just regular sesame oil. And what I do is I put it into a little amber dropper bottle. And these you can find pretty much at any health food store as well. Usually they sell these by any kind of aromatherapies because people will make aromatherapy blends and use these bottles for it. So I just fill up this glass mixing bottle with my sesame oil and I heat it up. And to heat it up, I just use a regular mug. I pop it in the microwave with hot water. When it comes out, I just stick this in here. And basically, I let this oil warm up while I'm using the neti pot. So by the time I'm done with this process maybe takes a couple of minutes from beginning to end because you have to do each nostril and then you got to dry out your nostrils. So by the time I'm done with this will be warmed up. So before I use it, I always take a drop, I put it onto my the inside of my wrist just to make sure that it's not too hot, because if it burns the inside of your wrist, it's going to burn the inside of your nostrils. So I just like to double check that it's not too hot, and I actually will lean back, put a couple drops into each nostril. While I'm still leaning back, I actually just pinch my nose a few times to massage it up into my nostrils. And afterwards, I will just straighten out my head, blow my nose out a little bit, just to get rid of all the excess oils. Oh, so always do the neti pot before you wash your face. I know it sounds like common sense, but there have been so many times that I just wasn't thinking and I went to like wash my face first and then I went to use the neti pot. This is the neti pot. By the time I was done getting salt water all over my face and then I got oil all over my face, you basically have to rewash because it's just gross. So always neti before you wash your face. Very important. The neti pot's a really easy addition to your daily routine that can give you amazing results. So I highly recommend it for anybody out there to try out, and I hope it works for you all. Let me know. Use the comment section down below if you already used one, if you're thinking about using one, if you just tried it because you watched this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I hope you guys all have a great day. Peace, love, and wellness to all of you guys.